So today's framework is actually I'm going to use the colors today. Today's framework is the 5 questions to get what you want. Now, these questions are going to sound super simple, but they are really essential. And just because the question is simple doesn't mean that the answer comes easily. Okay, so these questions are powerful, and I can't wait for you to experience them and actually experience them in sequence and see how they actually work together. Okay, so the first question when it comes to getting what we want, first and foremost, if I ask you right now, just tell me, go in for 30 minutes and tell me exactly what you want. How many of you could do it, right? How many could tell me specifically what you want, like crystal clear images of what you wanted, right? We have this vague idea of what we want. We have this vague idea of freedom, but most of us aren't really clear on what we want. And so we walk around life being disappointed because we're not getting what we want when we've never actually defined what it is that we want. That's like that's childish behavior. When my daughter, for example, she may be crying, right? But she may be crying because she wants something, but for her, it's because she simply can't articulate what it is that she wants, and so she gets frustrated, right? Well, guess what? In the same way, if we can't articulate what we want, right, to the universe, to the world, to other people, then we get frustrated because we don't find ourselves moving towards it because we don't even know what towards it means, right? So it's really important for us to get clear on what we want. So one of the easiest access points to getting clear on what we want is the first question, which is what don't I want? Now, I know this sounds super simple, right? I'm going to draw a garbage can over here, like an Oscar the Grouch garbage can. What don't I want, right? And that's usually people's easiest way to access, because a lot of people stay in negativity, and they always talk about what they don't want and what they hate and what they don't like, right? And that actually gives us valuable information about what we do want. So, one, we want to get clear on what we don't want first. And so, actually in the chat, I'm going to ask you, what are some things that you know you don't want? And the way I like to categorize don't want is 2 ways. Emotions that you don't want to experience. Not saying that any emotion is bad. All emotions are part of a cycle. They're all on spectrums, right? And life is about experiencing a wide variety of emotions. That's what brings you alive, right? But there's emotions, and then there's experiences that you don't want. So if you had to rail off some of the things that you know you do not want, what would those things be? And we can look at our parents' lives, and we can say, I don't want that. I do want a little bit of that, and I want a lot of that, right? So sometimes we look at our parents' life to get clear on what we do and don't want. We look at our peers' lives to say what we do and don't want, right? So what are some things that you know you don't want? Kevin, yes, stress and loss, right, and fear, right? So loss is something that we know we can't shake, right? Loss is something that comes. I mean, unless you are unless you die before everyone who you love, loss is part of life. So we can't really just throw loss in the trash can. What we can do is reframe how we think about loss, right? And ask ourselves, is it really loss? And what is loss really suggesting? Loss is really suggesting that I wasn't fully present when that person was here, right? Or I didn't take advantage of that money that I had in my account before I lost it, right? Remember, money doesn't like to be hoarded. It doesn't like to be held. And so, I like to characterize this thing around loss. I know I'm going in on loss. A lot of people have these amazing ideas on their hard drives, and then their hard drive crashes. Why did their hard drive crash, right? They lost all their data. Why does their hard drive crash? Because that idea wanted to be out there in the world, and they were balking on putting it out there in the world. So now that idea is going to find a different person's mind and computer to be on that's actually going to get it out in the world. That's what I think when I see somebody's hard drive crash, where they had tons of music, they had 80% written book, right? Is really that idea saying, I'm stuck here. I'm stuck on this person's computer. I'm about to get out of here. Hard drive crash. That idea goes and gets planted somewhere else where it's actually going to bear fruit, right? And so this is how I think about loss. So what are some things that you don't want? Anger and frustration. Yes, we can control our attitude, right? We can control our attitude. So if we don't want that, we can actually eliminate it. But we have to change our way of being. We have to stop being reactionary, right? So these are great. Marley, don't want to be held back. Don't want to miss out on opportunities. And don't want to be broke. Great. Missing out on opportunities. FOMO, right? Fear of missing out. Guess what? Marley is an amazing person, and you're going to attract amazing opportunities to you all the time. And in order for you to actually embrace the one that is for you, you're actually going to have to let some of those opportunities go. And then you're going to have to let go of good opportunities for great opportunities. Okay? So that's the first thing, is what don't I want, right? And you can think about these as red lights. These are things that you just absolutely want to stop and eliminate. Some you can control, and I wouldn't try to stop something I can't control. So like Kevin said, loss, I can't control loss, right? So we can stop the things that we can control, okay? So question number two. Question number two. What do you want? What do I want? I know this sounds super simple, right? But watch how you get to this. What we're going to do is we are actually going to take all of our responses from what I don't want, and we are just going to take the reverse. We're going to take the reverse. I call it the emotional mirror, right? So you look at all the things that you don't want, and then you say, what is the inverse of that thing? What is the inverse of loss? What is the inverse of missing out? What is the inverse of anger? What is the inverse of anxiety? What is the inverse of fear, right? And so what I want you to do is look at some of the things that you type, and I actually want you to type in the chat the inverse of that thing, the exact opposite of that thing. Because remember, getting clear on what we don't want helps us actually get clear on what we do want, right? So let's take Marley, for example. Fear of missing out. The inverse of that is being fully present in that which I'm in, right? If I'm fully present in that which I'm in, and I'm 100% here, then I'm not even thinking about what else is out there, because this moment is all that matters to me, right? You see how this works? So we have to start sometimes with what we don't want to get what we do want. And so this category for me is the things on that you like. I'm gonna put a little Facebook like hand here, and then these are things that you love too, right? These are things that you like and that you love. These are the yellow lights and the green lights. These yellow lights are things that you are occurring in your life that you want to continue to occur. And then green lights are things that you want more of and you want to accelerate and grow. Is this making sense? I know these questions sound super simple, right? But as you do them in sequence and you connect them in this way, you're going to start to see how it actually works out. Okay? Great. John Mark. Financial abundance, inner peace and harmony, self-love, positive people, care, financial stability. This is great. This is great. Any other inverses? Any other inverses? Now, a lot of people, they focus so much energy on what they don't want, and guess what happens when you focus energy on what you don't want? You simply attract more of what you don't want. You simply attract more of what you don't want. And so instead, I'm inviting you all to turn your back, to literally turn your back on everything that you don't want and start walking towards what you do want. Turn your back on absolutely everything that you don't want and start walking towards that which you do want. I know that sounds easier said than done, but that is actually how you change it. All of these things live on a spectrum. And if you are closer to what you don't want on the spectrum, all you have to do is turn around and make small little decisions that are going to move you closer towards that which you do want. Okay? So now we're going to get into the next question. Oh, before we get there, this is another framework that I'm going to throw in. I'm not going to go into it in detail. But when you're thinking about what you want, I also want you to think in vivid images, like pictures, okay? And the category that I want you to think about those in is called dream. Dream. Dream stands for your desired relationships, employment, and money. Your desired relationships, employment, and money. And when I'm talking about employment, I don't just mean the job that you want. I'm talking about what you're actually doing on a day-to-day basis, who you're actually working with, how you're interacting with them, the flow of your day, the type of projects you're on, the type of clients that you have, right? I want the details, not just, oh, I want this job. Okay? Relationships don't just include your significant other. Your relationships include your relationship to yourself, to your spiritual source, to your significant other, to your friends, to your kids, to your parents, to your siblings, to your cousins, to anybody that you work with, upward, whether it's a boss or whatnot, or downward, people that you're actually leading, people in your community. Your relationships, there are a variety of relationships. Do not just focus on the single relationship of your significant other if you have one or if you don't, right? There are tons of other relationships and people that you engage with on a regular basis, and all those relationships are valuable. And then desired money. I do want you to get crystal clear on what the amount is. A lot of people say they want to be rich, right? Oh, I want to be rich. Okay, what is the number? What is the number? If you want to be rich, then that's just a never-ending game because it's just this vague idea. And many of you could calculate the exact cost of the lifestyle that you want right now, but we resist doing it. And I think if you calculated the exact cost of the lifestyle that you wanted now, the type of house you wanted, the neighborhood that you wanted, the type of car, the type of food that you wanted to eat, the kind of amount of trips that you wanted to take, I think that you would find that the cost of that lifestyle is actually cheaper than what you expect. So now you can build your lifestyle directly towards meeting that particular cost, as opposed to just seeking to get as much money as possible, not knowing, and then waiting on retirement to actually start living the life that you want. Okay? So, desired relationships, employment, and money. So when you're thinking about what you want, think about desired relationships, employment, and money. Okay? Cool. So next, how do we do this? So now we have some clarity on what we want. The next step, question 3 is, what do I have? What do I have? I'm going to put a little battery over here. So this is like a cell phone battery over here. Your cell phone might not be fully charged right now, right? But you have something. You have something. You want it to be fully charged, but you have something, right? And all of us, like I said, first and foremost, have to recognize that we have a gold mine up here, right? And when we recognize that we have a gold mine, then we start to manifest gold mines in the external world. But we have to start with what we have. The only way to go from rags to riches, it doesn't just happen magically. You don't just get teleported from rags to riches. That individual had to, usually when you go from a rags to riches type story, because that's the type of story that a lot of people like and gets told a lot. Rags to riches means that I had no external resources around me. So how did I get to riches? The only place to go was within. The only place to go from rags was within. And that's where they recognized the value that they had within. And that's what allowed them to start moving towards riches. Okay? And so the only way to get where we're trying to go is to appreciate what we actually have. If you look at the word appreciate literally means to increase the value of, right? When a house appreciates, it means that the value has increased. And so this is why I do my gratitude journal on a daily basis. My gratitude journal causes me and has got me in the mindset. I've been keeping it since April 6, 2011. I've documented almost 20,000 moments of gratitude in my little gratitude journals. I call it a thank account. Okay? And every day I deposit millionaire moments into my thank account. And it has trained me to look at my life and be thankful for what I do have. Most people spend their life thinking about what they don't have. Right? They think about the gaps. Right? I think about what I do have, because only by appreciating what I do have am I going to move towards that which I want. Sitting and thinking about what you don't have is not going to get you closer to what you want. Only looking at yourself and thinking about what you do have, that's the only thing that can build the bridge to get you what you want. Right? And so, what do I have? So, in the last episode, we talked about the 4 capitals. You have your personal capital, which is your unique gift, talent, strengths, and strengths. And your intellectual capital, which is your skill mastery, your subject mastery. Then you have your mastermind, right, which is your networks up, down, across, and out. And then you have your money mastery, right? And that is your knowledge of how money works. That is your savings. That is your checking account. Any financial resource that you either have in your own accounts or that you can have get access to or create. Okay? And so this is what you have. And those things may be smaller than what you desire, but the only way that you move forward towards what you want is by appreciating those things, right? And making those things grow. You take, what did Tupac say? I'm trying to make $1 out of 15 cents, right? Say, look, I ain't got $1 right now. All I got is 15 cents, and I've got to figure out how to turn this 15 cents into $1, right? I got to do something. I'm going to go buy some Dixie cups and a lemon, and I'm going to start a lemonade stand and sell 2 cups of lemonade at 50 cents each. I don't care what I got to do, but I'm going to turn this 15 cents into $1 somehow, right? You can only do that by starting with what you do have, not with what you don't have, okay? So, so that's first, okay? Next, question 4 is, who do I have? Who do I have, right? This is my networks. These are people who love me and care about me, right? Usually, every success story that I know involves other people. If you can go find me an autobiography that has nobody else's name in it, where this person literally is the only character in the entire book, and they made it all happen by themselves, please send me that autobiography. It doesn't exist. It does not exist. Every success story involves other people. So we need to ask ourselves, who do we have? Who is where I want to be? And it may not be in totality. Somebody may have what you want in terms of romance. Somebody may have what you want in terms of money. Somebody may have what you want in terms of health, right? Who do you look to in these different areas and domains of your life to get advice from, to learn from, right? So that you can start moving in that direction, turning away from that which you don't want and moving towards what you do want, right? Who can you look to? So one thing I encourage people to do is go to LinkedIn and go to the contacts settings and invite all your Gmail, Hotmail, whatever email address system you use, invite all your contacts. What that'll do is LinkedIn will get access to all your contacts in your email, and it'll send out LinkedIn invitations to those people. What this allows you to do, if you go to mine, I think I have like 8,000 people. What it allows me to do, LinkedIn's search feature is amazing, right? Even if you don't have LinkedIn Premium, its search feature is amazing. So everybody who's been in your email account, you've been in contact with them somehow, some way, right? And so what this allows you to do is actually mine your network in a powerful way using powerful data by title, by city, by rank, by company, right? This allows you, by expertise, you can start to mine your network. And so it's a simple thing you can do. It literally takes 3 minutes. Go to LinkedIn, give them permission to access your Gmail contact, and send out LinkedIn invitations to all those people. Because if I look in your cell phone, a lot of the people who you need are in your cell phone. But we don't actually know the expertise. We don't actually know what everybody in our cell phone can offer us, right? We might know them by name and we have their number. But we need a more organized way to actually search through our social capital. And so by using this LinkedIn invite feature, you have a more accurate way of searching through your social capital. If I asked you to tell me the companies that your 10 best friends worked at, how many of you could do it right now? And these are your best friends. These are your closest people. Can you name the company? Can you even accurately name their title or their position or what they do? Most of us can't. And so we have these relationships, but we don't know how they can benefit us, right? We don't know how they can benefit us. So I really encourage you to mine your network in that way. So next, the final question is 5, which is, what is my next step? What is my next step? What is my next step? I don't need you to lay out the entire blueprint. I don't need you to lay out an entire game plan. Because, you know, a lot of people actually get stuck when they start planning, right? And so all I'm inviting you to do is take the next step. Turn away from that which you don't want and take the next step towards what you do want, okay? So there was this research done by Gail Matthews at Dominican University where she studied goal setting, and she had students, like 263 students, set goals in different ways. One group had to simply think about their goal. The next group had to write down their goal. The next group had to write down and plan. The next group had to write down, plan, and report. And the next group had to write down, plan, report, and share. Right? So 5 different groups. And what she found is that the group that had to write down their goal, plan it, report, and share had the greatest success. Okay? Now, you'll be interested to know that the group that actually did the worst was the group who did the worst was obviously the group who just thought about their goals, right? The group who did second worst was the group who wrote down their goals and planned. Because a lot of times when we start planning it out and we try to plan it out in detail, we get overwhelmed by the plan and then we don't take any action. So this is why I'm encouraging you not to go create a full out plan. Instead, I'm just inviting you to take the next right step. That's it. Take the next right step. I call it the first domino. You've set up a set of 28 dominoes, right? In such a way where you knock down one domino and the other 27 dominoes fall down. All you did was apply energy to one thing, and it caused 27 other things to occur, right? So what if we apply that same methodology to how we move towards that which we do want, right? Where we look at it and say, you know what? I don't need to know all these dominoes that are here, right? I don't need to know what all these steps are. But I know that if I knock down this first one, it's going to set in motion the domino effect. And it's going to create a chain reaction and move me towards the life that I do want. So some of you want to be healthier physically, right? So what would be a first domino to make that happen? A lot of people say, oh, go get a gym membership. Go buy some clothes, exercise clothes, buy an exercise bike, etc. No, that's not the first domino. The first domino is the easiest thing that you can do right now that will trigger the bigger action you're resisting taking. It's the easiest thing that you can do right now that will trigger the bigger action you are resisting taking. And so if you actually want to get healthy from a physical standpoint, I encourage you to go pay for 10 sessions with a personal trainer right now. How long does that take? That takes maybe 10 minutes. Once you get in the gym, you find a personal trainer, and you set up the session, you pay. Once you pay for those sessions, and now you know that this person is going to be waiting for you every Tuesday and Thursday at 6:30 a.m., all of a sudden you start showing up. Now, a lot of us rely on self-discipline, right, to try to go to the gym, and this is why we fall off by February and March, right? But the moment you actually knock down that first domino, which is all you did was pay, right? Another example for somebody who wants to get in shape, if you want to run a marathon, what's the first domino? Go pay for registration. No, it's not start training. No, it's actually go pay for the registration. The moment you do that, all the other things will fall into place, right? Or go get a donation for a cause that you are. The moment you get your first donation for that marathon from somebody, all of a sudden you're set in motion, right? So your first domino is the easiest thing that you can do right now that will trigger the bigger action you're resisting taking, okay? So just to wrap up really quickly, here is how this process works, okay? So first, we have the things that we don't want, okay? And then over here, we have the things that we do want, okay? And what we do is we go from here to here. This is what we have. And then this is who we have. That is going to help us get from here to here. And then from there, all we have to do is take the first step, the next right step. And once you're done taking that next right step, then what do you do after that? You take the next right step. And after you take that next right step, what do you do after that? You take the next right step. See, a lot of us are impatient and we want to get it all right now. We want to have everything we want right now. And I do believe that you deserve and can have everything that you want. But you got to be patient. This life is a process. The person who succeeds is not the person who gets it all the fastest. That's not the most successful person, though that's how we've typically defined it. I want you to enjoy the journey, enjoy the process, enjoy the ups and downs. I don't want you to long for what you want. It's not about longing for it. It's about being present here in this moment and knowing that what you want is yours and that it's going to come to you as long as you stay focused, as long as you ask for help, as long as you use what you already have and don't focus on the things that you don't have, right? This list that we started out with all the things that you don't want, I encourage you to let it go. Don't even revisit it. Don't think about it. Because once we've inverted those things into positive things, the negative things don't matter anymore. These don't matter anymore. All I want you to do is focus all your energy and attention on that which you want. And they say where your eyes go is where your body will follow. If you focus on that which you want, your body, your behavior, your actions will follow in that direction. So with that, I'm going to come to chat and I'm going to take any questions that you have. Any questions that you have, any thoughts? What was your greatest takeaway? What was your greatest takeaway? What was your greatest insight from today? Kevin said, what if what I don't want prevents me from what I do want? What if what I don't want prevents me from what I do want? I'm trying to get clear on what that means, Kevin. I like the question. I'm trying to think of an example so I can work through that with you. Okay. Any questions? Any thoughts? What was your greatest takeaway? Okay, so Kevin said, fear, loss, and stress is preventing me from getting what I want. So, Kevin, are you losing something right now? Are you losing something right now? Is something like fleeting from you right now? No, probably not. You are perfectly fine and okay right now, right? And stress is usually about worrying too much about what we want in the future, right? Stress is usually induced by either inaction in the past or worrying about what we might have to do in the future. And so I'm inviting you to be just present in the here and now and focus on the next right action and not all the right actions that you might need to take. Because guess what? You can't plan for it. You can't plan for it. You don't know how it's going to come. You don't know how it's going to manifest. Just think about your best friend. See, I like using this example. Think about your best friend, right? Your best friend, you found somebody in life who you love. It's plutonic. Well, your best friend could be your partner as well. But I'm talking about your high school best friend. And how did you attract them? It was somebody you wanted. Oftentimes we didn't know that we even wanted them. But how did you attract them? Did you create a plan to find your best friend? Did you create a plan to find your best friend? Oh, I'm gonna meet 50 people and do this and do this. And then when it comes to dating, that's how we try to find our significant other. We have this strategic plan. No, when you were just being yourself and taking it one moment at a time, you will attract that which you actually desire and want. My belief from a spiritual standpoint is that my creator, and I don't know about anybody who's watching, my creator wants me to have everything that is mine. And everything that is mine is already mine. I just have to become aware of it and step into it. It would be cruel of a creator to create you with a purpose and then not give you everything you need to achieve and fulfill that purpose. That would be cruel. And I just don't believe that my creator operates in that way. So I don't know if this is resonating from a spiritual standpoint. Some people watching this may not have any spiritual connection whatsoever, and that's okay. Just throw that out throw that one out. But for me, I just don't believe that the universe is set up for us not to have what we want. I just don't believe it. Now, here's the thing. Here is a catch-22. Is that a lot of times we think we want something, and then we get it, and we realize it's not what we wanted. So just because you think you want something doesn't mean that that's actually what you want. I'm going to repeat that. Just because you think you want something doesn't mean that that's actually what you deep down inside want. Right? You said you wanted this guy or you wanted this girl, and then you got him. Right? You started dating. And after you started dating, you realize that that's not what you wanted. So oftentimes our perception of what we think we want, right, is not actually what we want. Right? And you don't really know that you want something. You can't really know that you want something until you've tasted it. And say, oh, I love that. I love that chocolate chip cookie from that restaurant. I love that filet mignon that they make there. I love that because I've tasted it. And I haven't been back there in 3 years, right? You only can know that you really want something if you actually tasted it. Otherwise, most of us are just guessing. We're guessing what we want. Oh, I want $1 million. I want this kind of house. I want this kind of job. We're guessing, right? Off of imperfect information, right? So usually there's information in the guessing, right? There's something about that dollar figure. There's something about that job. There's something about that person that you really do want. But instead of looking at the characteristic and the kind of ingredient, we actually embody what we want in that thing. I want that thing instead of I like these characteristics about that thing. And I want more of those characteristics in my life, right? So, for example, you see a woman and just from a dating standpoint, you see a woman and I love her humor. her generosity, and her self-care, right? And those are the characteristics that we want, and probably could find in lots of different partners. But instead of dissociating those characteristics from that individual, we say, I want her, I want him, right? And then we go get him or her and realize that those are three of many other characteristics, some of which we don't want. And so oftentimes when we're trying to get clear on what we want, it's a guessing game. And you only really know if you want something if you actually tasted it and if you actually tried it. And then it's no longer present because it was fleeting, or or something like that. Okay? So this question around what do we want is actually a very elusive one in many ways, because you can only know what you want by actually experiencing it and trying it out. And through actually the experience of the opposite, right? Which is where we started. Okay. How do you focus when lots of sound ideas come to you on a daily basis? It's a great question, Deanna. The ideas that come consistently are the ones that I usually pursue. The ones that continue to wake me up in my sleep and have me step out and journal and take notes. If that idea keeps coming back, then that's the one I tend to focus on when I am awake, right? There are ideas that are coming. I've had tons of great business ideas, and I know that I'm not the one meant to manifest that thing in the world, okay? And so, I just know that the focus needed to manifest a single idea is so much that I can't hold too many ideas at once. And so I have to love the idea that I have been given, that I've been blessed with, and focus my energy on that and trust that somebody else out there is going to bring that other idea that I love into fruition. Right? Deborah, who you know that so you could do, what do I have right now? Great. That's Deborah's takeaway. I'm looking for any questions. All right. This has been a good one. What I'm going to do really quickly is I'll leave this up for one more second. Make sure you got all the questions. And then we'll vote really quickly on Tuesday's episode. I already got some of your votes already. But feel free to vote again. Amparo and I will capture all of these and tally them up like we have been doing. And that will determine what we talk about on Tuesday. Okay? I have tons of other frameworks to share with you. So let me know which one you want. Just put in the number, and we will get those set up, and that will dictate the season that we have ahead. Yeah, Paula, I love that. Staying present, right? And for those who are Christian, they say, thou shalt not want, right? Thou shalt not want. What does that mean? That, yeah, you can have desires, but don't want so much that it is taking you out of this present moment. Don't want so much that it is taking you out of this present moment. Because if you are, let's say you are, dating is just an easy example. Let's say you are having dinner with your significant other or somebody that you like, but you're thinking about all the things that this person doesn't have, or thinking about the things that you want on top of what this person has. It's taking you out of that moment and out of that engagement, and you aren't even getting a full cup of what this person has to give to you, right? Because we're always thinking about what's next, right? What comes after, right? Takes us out of the present moment. So looking like number 8. I see my focus group members in here. The entrepreneurial crowd wants to find problems that are worth solving, right? Because your income will be directly proportional to the size of the problem that you solve. Bill Gates is not rich because he was a white man and had privilege. He was rich because he solved a huge problem. He solved a really, really, really big information system problem through the computer. That's why he's rich. So this whole argument around, oh, we hate the 1%, we're the 99%. No, there's people in that 1% who got there because they solved some really big problems that people in the 99% weren't willing to solve. I'm just telling how it is. Okay. Steve Jobs, okay, Bill Gates was had some privilege. Okay, Steve Jobs, he was a foster youth, and he decided to solve a big problem to make a dent in the universe. That's how big a problem he wanted to solve. The universe is big, and he wanted to at least leave a dent in the universe, right? So what size problems are you committed to solving? Small problems or big problems, right? Not saying that you have to solve poverty, for example, but there may be an aspect of poverty that you can solve. One of my business school classmates started Kiva.org, which is a poverty alleviation program by providing microfinancing for entrepreneurs who didn't have access to financing before, to the quote-unquote unbankable, right? So the Kiva.org solved poverty as a whole? No, right? But did they create a huge economic opportunity even as a nonprofit simply by taking the risk to start this organization that provided microfinancing? Yes. Okay? There's many different ways to slice a problem. All right. So that concludes today's episode. My challenge to all of you is get off Facebook now, right? Unless you find other programming like this, Facebook is probably not leading you towards freedom. The only reason I come here is because you're here, right? But I won't be on Facebook for the rest of the day because Facebook is not where I find my freedom. And so I'm encouraging you all to get your butts off Facebook, share this video with as many people as you can, so that if people are lollygagging on Facebook, at least they stumble across something that's going to help them get free and be free. All right. So please share. Please share. That's the only way we get the word out. We're halfway through the season already, which is exciting. And yeah, based on the shares, based on the comments, based on the feedback, that will determine if we continue to go forward. For all my veterans, my freedom finders who have been back consistently, thank you for coming back for each lunch break every Tuesday. Excuse me. Tuesday and Thursday at 12:30 Eastern Standard Time. I appreciate you. Whether there's one of you here or 1,000 of you here, I'm here because I really care. So with that, I want to say thank you so much. And again, stop giving away your 2 cents when you have a gold mine. Go to freeme.tv. If you just caught us somehow and stumbled across this video, go to freeme.tv, sign up to get your freedom tools and to get notified about Tuesday's episode. All right. So with that, I want to say thank you, everyone, and we will talk on Tuesday at 12:30 Eastern Standard Time. Much love, everybody. Peace.